Nice.
Just one touch and I'm lost inside your love. Just one touch means more than words can say. Just one touch and I know I'm gonna stay for always.
Oh,
All right.
all great shows on that.
My fault. Welcome, everybody. I already see some people jumping in the chat. They'll be slowly coming in more. I already see Mike. He says always screws up his nickname, so I won't say
Nacho.
But Happy Feet's here. Looks like Matthew's here. The Oxide is here. So, well, people, we got the She-Squatchers. Probably said that wrong. I apologize.
Say it again. Eric's got a speech impediment, that ladies. You probably already know that. He was deaf. So
really?
don't judge him.
At one time I was.
Huh, that's really interesting.
Yeah. You know, what are you gonna do, right?
Yeah, no, I actually think that's really interesting. I've always been interested in learning sign language. I've got some books on it and everything. I just haven't gotten myself to really get hooked in there. A little busy,
Yeah,
but did you learn sign language?
No, not really. See, the funny thing is when I was a kid, they said in the schools, they said that I wouldn't speak a lot. I wouldn't talk a lot. So the schools did not do the proper testing back in the 80s, right? Yes, I know how to spell my name. But so they actually thought that there was something wrong with me. So they actually sent me to a special school for learning without even testing my ears or nothing. So I actually got sent from another school where a special car picked me up, and I was made fun of with all the kids in the where we live. They made fun of you.
Kids are so mean. They make fun of everybody.
And then now people in the chat, I gotta stop reading that. But the teacher's like, one day, teacher's like, I don't think he's really not paying attention on purpose. I don't think he can hear you. So they tested my ears. I only had like 10-50% hearing.
Wow.
Yeah.
And this was like 2 years after they sent me to a school.
Wow. What did they do then? Just put tubes in your ears, or did you have surgery?
Well, I had to get surgery first before the tubes. They had to remove, I forgot what it was. They had to remove something. So what it is see, your drum's supposed to have a space between the back.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have that space no more.
Oh,
so
wow.
like if I get on a airplane, the air pressure, I can really feel it.
Yeah.
So all throughout my life, I have tubes. They put them in, and then they get affected. I do everything right, they still get affected. They had to force it out, and then a month later, water comes back. They put it back in. So it's been a lifetime deal. And
yeah, but I always tell people. Eric forgets to say this because when we were kids, they told my dad he's deaf. There's no helping him. There's no coming back. He's gonna be deaf. Yeah. And then my dad's like, he looked at him and goes, "Can you hear me?" And he goes, "Yeah." It doesn't sound deaf to me. So
yeah.
He's not deaf yet.
It's amazing the strides we've taken. So amen that those, things have been done. But I suppose you guys are interviewing us. Sorry, I started interviewing you guys.
All great stuff. This is all great. I mean, it doesn't really affect me today. It's better, but it's like low hearing. I can't hear low. So if you all whisper, I don't know what you're saying.
Well, you don't have to worry about that because Jenna's really loud.
I am, baby.
You can actually talk behind my back in front of me. Just whisper.
Oh.
Yeah, he was hear no evil. I was see no evil because I was sitting in the back of these are medical. I'm not being cool. People wear sunglasses. These are VA. These are protective glasses for my one working eye. So when I was a kid, I couldn't see. I was blind, kind of like real bad. And I was at the back of the class being cool. And I was fine with the teachers. And then finally the counselor says, "Can you fucking see?" I go,
she used that language?
Yeah. He shuts his door. In the back of his door, he has one of those reading charts. And he's sitting there, "Could you please read one of them lines?" I go, "No, man, I ain't reading shit." He goes, "Just read me one line." I got it all wrong. So then I got medical glasses for my eyes.
Wow.
And they're tinted on purpose because they're blue. They're too blue. So I have to wear the medical grade tinted So
Wow.
that's see no evil, hear no evil. And our
What
older
are
brother was
we?
a transsexual who died. It was speak no evil.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
Yeah, it was weird.
Well, we really appreciate you guys for having us on. That's for sure.
No, that's pretty awesome. While more people start coming in, tell us about yourselves first. Tell us.
Well, I'm Jen Cruz. I'm the team leader of She-Squatchers. We started in 2015. We're not just women in the woods looking for Bigfoot, though. We're actually psychic women who go out looking for Bigfoot. So we do things a lot differently than most Bigfooters do. We don't just go out and do some whoops and knock on trees and see if we can find stick structures. We're actually using geographic remote viewing to look at areas from satellite imagery before we actually go there. So we're looking for Bigfoot from satellite imagery using controlled remote viewing, which is like a psychic sense, to see if we can locate Bigfoot before we get there. And then as soon as we start seeing something there, I drop a pin on it, send it to my team. They look at it, and if they come back saying they're seeing something there too, then if it's interesting enough, we'll go there if we can get to it. So we've had really good results with that. And, you know, we have various other methods that we use for that, which I'm sure we'll get into with the show. But these are my lovely teammates, Jenna Grover and Tammy Trickle.
So who's the second one who joined the team?
Oh, me?
You're the second one? Okay, you go
Oh,
next.
yes. At first, I thought, is he talking about joined this thing or
No,
the show or the?
no.
Oh my gosh, yeah. You know, here's the thing. Jen had gone out. She hadn't told me. I think she was a little embarrassed about being a Bigfoot hunter, which kind of I was too when we started. But really, I mean, I went to visit her one day. We were hanging out. We were talking, and she was like, "Okay, Jenna, I have to tell you something." And she started telling me what she did, and that was going out into the woods. She said, I started a team, and this is how it started. And by the time she told me about going out into the woods and what she was looking for, I was gung-ho. And at first, I really didn't think anything of Bigfoot, but I was all about camaraderie. I was all about, let me see how far I can push myself. And yeah, it was just like, yeah. So I got on board right away. So yeah,
that's great. That's
and right before
great.
Tammy, I don't want to miss these questions real quick. Because the question was Lloyd Pie. Does that mean anything?
I don't think so.
Somebody wrote, please ask them if they ever heard of Lloyd Pie.
No, I'm sorry.
Who
And
is it?
I know you're located in the Midwesterns, but what state are you located in?
Two of us are in Minnesota. The other one of us is in North Dakota, but we're kind of on a border city. So literally it's like the same city. The river separates the states.
Okay. Okay. And people in the chat, if you've got questions, type in the word question and then give me your question and I'll get to it. I don't want to miss anybody. So Tammy, you're the third person that joined. What made you want to join the team?
Well, originally I had wanted to join before, but there was a lot of drama going on and I didn't get to at the time. But a couple summers ago, Jen asked me if I wanted to join the team, and I had free time in my life. I'm like, heck yeah, man, I want to go on adventures. I want to go explore stuff. So that's all it took. She just asked me.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's what it takes. Yeah.
You go camp, you go full-blown camping, the whole thing, like tents and everything.
Me, right? I love camping. Primitive camping. The more primitive, the better. I love it.
I'm a lover of camping.
Up here. I got a couple of their videos. There's some minute-long ones. I was just waiting for more people to jump on. They usually jump on during the show starting. So when more people jump on, I'll show some of their videos.
Mm.
So before we start starting the videos, has any of you had such an experience out in the woods seeing Bigfoot that Jen made you want to start this club? Was there something that happened to you in life that said, I need to do this?
Well, here's what happened. I had a paranormal radio show for quite a few years. And at that time, I was more into metaphysical things your Mandela Effect, things like parallel universes, ghosts, hauntings, things like that. And so my radio show really focused on that. But I ended up at a Paracon in Minnesota, a really big event, and Lauren Coleman, cryptozoologist, the one you see on TV all the time, he's got the International Cryptozoology Museum in Maine. He ended up at this Paracon. So I asked him in person if we could have an interview with him for my show. And he said yes. So I had a sit-down in-person interview with Lauren for over an hour. It was awesome. I didn't know anything about Bigfoot, really. I had never thought about Bigfoot one way or the other. I really didn't really believe in Bigfoot, but I had never really thought about it either. And during that interview, he was so interesting, and he shared so many things that were so scientific that I was like, maybe there is something to this. But then he had a really interesting idea. He said that he thought that the recipe for success in finding and interacting with Bigfoot would be to send women into the woods without men, dogs, or guns.
Yes.
And he thought that would be it. And he had lots of reasons why he thought that. You know, he gave them to me. He said women have a great rapport with a natural great rapport with the great apes. And he talked about Jane Goodall's work with the chimpanzees. And then he said men have a pheromone that the great apes just don't like. And he thought that would also perhaps apply to Bigfoot. But then he said, usually when we're seeing Bigfoot near roadways, we don't see family units usually crossing the road or by the road. We don't see mom, dad, and the kids out for a stroll. What we're seeing are younger male Bigfoot that are out alone, probably doing the things they're not supposed to be doing in areas they're not supposed to be. And he thought these younger male Bigfoot would be a little bit more apt to come in closer to take some look at a ladies in the woods if they didn't have men, dogs, or guns with them. So on the show, I said, hey there, big boy, I'll do that. And I was joking, of course. But by the end of the interview, I actually seriously volunteered to try this. So I got some ladies together and we went out and we tried it. We actually had really shockingly good luck on our first time out. So much so that it scared most of the girls that were with me into not wanting to do it anymore.
That's great. I went to school for anthropology, so
that wasn't these
everything
girls.
you said is true. Everything you said is true, 100%. I'm like, yes, that's correct. A lot of guys, they go out for the females. They do come out for females. I'm like, a bunch of sweaty dudes with beards just smelling like whiskey and guns, you know, they coming out. But if you have a bunch of gals out there, I mean, don't be wearing all the extras and stuff, you know, they can smell you. They might come out and thump on some logs or something and get some results. Smart move.
Funny. Right? Yeah, we make sure not to have any perfume on. We've got a lot of rules about before we go out. We don't need to get into them because some of them are not on radio. But anyway, yeah, so we really seem to take care before we go out. So is there
that was a good comment. It says so cool to see more women into the paranormal.
Thank you.
Yeah, since you guys are biologically born with magic, I tell people that I took African studies, and in Africa that people go, no, they don't. Yeah, they do. The females are born with magic, and it's the man's job to make sure they don't use the magic. They'll kill the field, and you know it's suppression. But again, it's the idea that they're always born with magic. I always told my daughter, I said, "Honey, you're born with magic, so guys have to learn it like idiots." You know, but women are born with it, and so why not in the paranormal field? I see more females get results with ghosts, Sasquatch, everything paranormal because of the earth nature, the earth thing. You guys are, you know, Earth, Mama Gaia. Shit, you guys can roll out in the woods, no problem with science equipment. No problem.
Well, boy, I like you. That's awesome. You've got all good things to say about us. Keep it up.
Yeah,
Keep
it
going.
makes sense. It's science, so we're talking science. We're not talking like, you know, this is all hypothetical. No, in science, it makes more sense. She nailed it. I mean, the young males, if they were a Gigantopithecus, they're going to come out for the females. They're going to come out. They're going to smell the females. They're going to smell the males and hide. I mean, buck, you go deer hunting. If you just typical regular deer hunters, well, the bucks will send out the females first. You know, the buck always follows behind the females. It's just logical. They follow behind the females, and they'll watch from a distance as the females go out. And you're like, Oh wait, the male's over here somewhere. The males are. They're not stupid. Obviously, they're not stupid. So the same thing. If there's just females, they smell just females. The males might come out. They might start being machismo and thumping on things and
Being
maybe
machismo.
challenging each other.
Beating on their chest.
Yeah,
Right?
they might. Yeah, they're gonna make noise. They're gonna rival each other. You know, you're gonna probably have more than one male, and they're gonna rival each other. You're gonna have all kinds of activity.
Well, I hope
That's
not.
why men get hurt when they go looking for Bigfoot and they get chased. That's because they're being men and being aggressive.
Yeah, exactly. That's why when I heard Eric was talking about female Sasquatch, I said, absolutely. Makes sense to me. It's smart.
Nice.
Cool
Yeah, I'm
video.
gonna play one of the footage you caught of a Bigfoot 2018 Tennessee Bigfoot Night Expedition. I won't play like the whole video, but I'll play the part where you can see something in the background, so people know that you guys actually are doing this. So here we go. I'm gonna press play, and hopefully they can hear it.
Make a big.
I don't think you can hear anything on it.
There's
But that's
no
my
sound.
footage. I took that footage. Do you want me to tell you the story?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so we were out at supper and we were remote viewing the area, and we decided we were going here. And Jen, when we got there, said there's one about 30 feet away from the car. So I got out and I had the FLIR, and it was my first time using it, so I hadn't started recording it yet because I didn't know how. But I got it and I was looking at him, and he's sitting there and he puts his arm up above his head and he's scratching, and you could see all this long hair hanging down from his arm. And of course, that's not the part that got recorded, but I'm sitting there going, hey guys, how do I record this? I see him, how do I record? And they're messing around and stuff. And I'm like, somebody told me how to record this thing. So finally, Jenna came over and showed me which button it was because it was pitch black and you couldn't see. And so I started recording him, but he knew that we were there. We got like 13 minutes of that footage, you know, and that was my hand right there. And you can see that I'm black, he's white. Skin was black, but hair was white. So he's covered in hair. And you can see later on in the video, if you want to watch the whole footage, you see my hair in there, and you'll see Matthew Delph. He was there with us.
Since, like you said, since there's no audio, you could, keep telling us a story so people can hear what's going on. Because you can see that little light gray right there.
Yep, that's him right there. And you can't really tell if he's like stripping an animal or digging in the ground right there. To me, it looked like he was leaning with his back up against the tree, but we had Matthew Delph go out the next day and check because we had to leave. And he said there was also a shelf right there, so he could have been standing behind it and using it like a table. But yeah, he's just sitting there and he's doing something with his hands, and you can tell that he doesn't have a neck, like a person. He's got an apex head, and he's got very broad shoulders, and he's white and covered in hair. Like I said, if you watch the entire footage, you'll see that my hair is white and my skin is black in this footage.
Let me see. I think
Blow it up bigger, Eric. Blow it up bigger. The whole thing.
It froze. So it froze. Oh, here it is.
You can see the footage on our YouTube channel, She-Squatchers Official.
Include your channel and everything for everybody to go back and see it.
Yeah, in the beginning of the chat, people, I did put their YouTube page and their website, because they actually have a website. So, hey, Mike, or let me see here. Who's in the chat? I think I saw Michael Healy. Hey, Michael Healy, if you could do me a favor, if you can post their YouTube page for me, I appreciate that. So it looks like the videos. You guys, are we still frozen?
I think it's moving still.
It looks like it's trying to move.
It's trying to move.
Okay.
Yeah, it's moving.
As soon as you
But
make
it's
it
so
bigger,
exciting.
that's great. Is he white? No, is he white? Is this just black and white? So is he dark or is he white?
This is
It's
thermal.
black hot, right? Right, Jen? It's black hot?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's black hot on the. It's a thermal camera, so it picks up your hair. Like our eyelashes and our hair showed up stark white. So at one point in the video, I've got the camera. She hands me the camera, and I start looking at all of us to show you. Like Tammy walks by me, and I'm showing you what Tammy looks like, so you can see her eyelashes and her hair are stark white, and then back at the creature again. So its hair is showing up as stark white. Skin shows up as dark gray or black. So that's the thermal setting that we really like, because the one that shows up is yellow and red. Different things in the forest show up like that, where something that shows up as white because it's hairy is really easy to spot.
It is easy. Erica froze it again.
Yeah, I know. It might be because I have a lot of windows up.
Oh,
Not a lot of windows up. No, a lot. It could be. So
But
let
see,
me hit stop on that one.
You can see him there. You can see him sitting there. That is amazing.
Yeah,
And
that was so exciting. I mean, he knew we were there. We knew he was there. We didn't try to approach any closer, and he didn't run away. So it was a great deal.
females. That's why that's fucking females. That's why you walk right up to it, man. You guys, that's great. God.
Thank you, Mike.
They have that arch on the top of their head, the Newcomb's crest, that kind of that weird ridged head, like a little nipple down, like they have a nice little, like this hat, like a slot down the top of their head. I guess.
More people coming. Well, let me play this other video and we can talk about it, and hopefully it doesn't freeze. I'm going to be playing the Bigfoot shelter den-like structure. So let me find it.
Oh, let me tell you about this one. We found this on a remote view, and this was like the first time that I had used remote viewing to locate a structure. Jenna and I were going out there, and you could tell when we got there that she did not believe in remote viewing, because I was chomping at the bit to get out of the car, and she was dilly-dallying. And so, but here we are, we're at the structure. And I turned around to look at something, and I turned back around, and Jenna is gone. And I freaked out because she was just missing all of a sudden. She's standing behind it, and I couldn't see her.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
That is so cool.
And when we get there, right? Like, and I tell people this, I believe in Jen wholeheartedly. I really do. I look up to her. I believe in everything she's talking about. But wow, I didn't really believe in this remote viewing. I was completely stunned when the first thing I see is this huge tower and then this incredible structure.
This angle, you're not seeing the tower. This is it was like the size of a Walmart aisle. So the tower is like the end cap of the aisle, and this part here is the long section that goes way back behind it. And Jenna actually did get in that at some point. But at this point in this particular video, she walked behind it, and when my back was turned and I turned back around and she was just gone, it scared me. I'm like, oh my God, she's gone.
She was really, really scared too. And in all this time that she can't see me, I can see her perfectly. It's almost like this was a blind, and it was amazing. And there were trees near the structure that were filled with leaves. Like if the tree came to a point like this, where the point like a V, then there was a bunch of leaves and sticks just in that middle to create like little barriers almost where you can't see certain things. It's just incredible. That was one of my favorite finds.
It was literally weaved together. And this is deep on the Indian reservation that my family comes from in northern Minnesota, and it's a closed reservation. So that, for those who don't understand what that might mean, it means that if you're not a tribal member, you can't just get out of the car and walk off into the woods somewhere without a tribal member. You have to have a tribal member or be a tribal member to do that, okay? And if not, people are going to come into your face and say, who are you? Get out of here. They will kick you out in a heartbeat. But also, it means that there's different laws there, okay? Because when you cross the border, you're not technically fully in America anymore, because it's a closed reservation. And it's very large, it's very unpopulated, and it's very natural places. So here we are on the reservation where there is no deer hunting season, because every day is deer hunting season on the reservation. It is allowed every single day. And the things that aren't legal to do in deer hunting off the reservation are regular deer hunting practices on the reservation. So I tried to tell the team this when we were first going out there, and throughout the time when I take different team members up there, I would tell them, this is how they hunt here. So don't be surprised when a truck full of guys pulls in, a guy will be driving, and there might be 2 or 3 guys standing in the back of the truck with their rifles up on the top of the truck, and they're aiming out and ready to shoot from a driving pickup truck. They're standing in the back and they're ready to shoot from the back. And, you know, it shocks them whenever they actually see it in person, even if I warn them that this is going to happen. So we have to be careful when we're out there. We have to wear colors. We have to anything. And when we talk to the native elders about this particular structure that we found, and there's many more out there. There's many more out there. They say that this is not native built. Nobody built this. Number one, the reason is this structure was weaved together. If a native person built something like that, they would tie it together. Okay. Number two, a native person would never build something that close to a drivable trail because they would get shot.
Yeah.
This was 75 feet off of a drivable trail. So nobody would have built that, because if they were hiding in there, they would get shot. Nobody hunts using blinds out there. Nobody hunts using deer stands out there. They all hunt from the back of a truck.
Wow.
So all the natives, all the elders say this is Sasquatch. They believe 100% that it's Sasquatch. The DNR from the reservation says that they come across these all the time in the woods, and they just back away very slowly because they don't want to cause any trouble, and they don't want to have an altercation with what they know is Bigfoot out there.
Wow. So yeah, you got permission from the elders, and do they do totems? I'm in the Northwest, but they do totems. They actually have the wild man of the forest totems. You know, they have different names for Sasquatch, Bigfoot, wild man of the forest, but they do totems. Do they do any kind of totems over there for Sasquatch, Bigfoot, whatever you want to call it?
My tribe doesn't do totems, but we do have the sacred teachings, the 7 sacred teachings of the grandfathers, which are very, very old, thousands of years old. And there's 7 sacred teachings, and these are like the 10 commandments for the native people, okay? And each one of the seven sacred teachings is represented by an animal. So love is represented by the eagle. Humility is represented by the wolf. And guess what? Bigfoot represents honesty.
Okay.
And they say that's because Bigfoot represents.
This might be a stupid question, but do you have protection, like weapons, just in case? Because, you know, you're out in the middle of the woods, not just with Bigfoot, with bears, animals. Nothing?
That was the whole thing. Lauren Coleman's idea was to send women into the woods without men, dogs, or guns. We do not take weapons with us. I have a walking stick. That's probably not going to do much against a Sasquatch, but
you know, I have to cut in.
I'm not scared of Sasquatch.
Yeah. Actually, people and other animals are even more. I fear that more than Sasquatch right now. But I was going to mention that when we go out there. Oh no, I forgot what I was saying. What did you?
Jenna,
what about animals, Jenna?
Jenna bought bear spray once, but she didn't really take it out with us. She left it in the car.
Yes, but and this is what I was going to say. Thank you very much, brain. So I was going to say, we have been approached by men, you know, at these different events saying, oh my gosh, you guys have to carry a gun, get this, get that. And they said, you have to be careful of men and you have to do this. Well, we don't go around announcing where we're researching, first of all. We don't tell the town that we're coming. You know, we're very private like that. We do not want to have anybody fake something or make us look ridiculous. We're there for truth, and we're trying to find it for ourselves. We don't care whether you think the same about our evidence that we're finding. We're doing this for ourselves. So we just hope everyone else gets to have fun looking too.
I'm gonna play one of your other videos, the one on strange lights. And for freezes people, I'm sorry. It seems like with a lot of windows open, it might freeze. If it does, you know, it'll snap back to normal. So let me put the share. Let me hit play.
Let me tell you a little bit about this video real quick. So somebody had seen a Bigfoot walking in the middle of this marshy bog from one set of trees to the other, and they reported that to us. So we contacted the landowner and trying to get permission to go onto this land, and the landowner said no, because it is a marshy bog and you could fall through the bog and drown good luck.
Yeah.
You know, it's more dangerous than falling through the ice and try to find the hole to come back up. A bog is really dangerous. So he doesn't let people go back there. There's no roads to go back there. There are no roads in there. There are no roads behind there. So
that's not a flashlight. What you're saying.
You know, that's not somebody back there. Now, somebody had said on one of our videos that they probably were out there looking to see that we weren't there after we asked permission. We asked permission long before we ever went there, and we didn't announce that we were coming to the area. So we're talking weeks and weeks after we asked permission, and then when we go into a location, we stealth ourselves in, and nobody knows we were even there till we're on our way out. So we ended up going to this location in the middle of the night. And Jenna has a unocular device it's a night vision camera that can see really far away. I have a monocular device that can see close up in the dark. And this here, we're using the unocular because we're looking across a field. We're parked on the side of the road. We parked on the road. We opened the windows, and Jenna's got her head out the window with this unocular device, and I'm eyeballing it. And I start seeing the lights in the trees, and I said, Jenna, can you see those lights? And she found them on the video. And so you see them moving in and out of the trees when they are on the video. And it was just a really weird thing. We weren't there looking for lights. We were there looking for the Bigfoot. And we ended up seeing the lights. Interestingly enough, the local people there, and again, this is right on the edge of a reservation in northern Minnesota. And the local people there say that when you see the lights, then you know Bigfoot is near, because they often see these strange lights, and pretty soon they see Bigfoot showing up in that close area. So
yeah, I've heard that. There's other people that claim, and I've heard them swear it up and down, you know, who knows anymore, when they have UFO activity. I've heard that more than once. There's UFO activity, and right after the UFO activity, there's usually Sasquatch. And they're like, well, are they coming out of the UFO? But for some reason, when they have, according to a lot of stories, when they have UFO activity, and then they go and come and they're watching, they're not looking for Sasquatch. They're looking at the UFO, the unidentified object in the sky, doing its little thing. And then as it gets out of the way, they'll have an encounter with what they think is a Sasquatch much later. It's like they come out or something. I don't know what the correlation. I guess maybe I believe they're interdimensional. So if a ship comes in interdimensionally, it brings a little bit of itself with it, like it, not just the ship, but the whole radius area kind of comes in with it. So maybe in their dimension, these Sasquatch are all over, just running everywhere, hominids or whatever you want to call them, and they kind of bring them in.
You know, you're going to really enjoy the rest of the story then, because Jen, keep going. Well, and by the way, Jen, we haven't even been telling this to people on the radio. I think we just forget because it all happened so fast. But before you continue, do you remember when I kept trying to point the video over to the right, and it was blurry, and I said, Jen, every time I point this to the right, I said it's blurry. I can't see it, like, from a certain perspective. And go ahead, Jen.
And what was weird is I when I looked at it remote viewing from above, from the satellite imagery, the whole area that she couldn't see on the camera was also blurry on my remote. When I would look at the satellite imagery, the whole thing was blurry. Yeah. And that particular area that wouldn't come up on the camera either. So that was really weird.
Yeah.
But when we started seeing the lights, and Jenna found the lights on the video, she got them on the video. Right at the end, we decided, okay, we've seen enough. She shut off the camera, and we're going to get ready to go. But the car has been shut off for a long time. We're sitting there with the windows open, pulled off to the side of the road. And all of a sudden, the lights in the car went on, off, on, off, on, off. And I was like, I'm sitting behind the wheel of the car. And I'm that was weird. And Jen's like, what'd you do that for? I'm like, I didn't do that.
Yeah, I really thought it was her. I was like, she's so weird. In my mind, of course, I wouldn't have said, Jen, you're so weird. But it was really weird. So I just thought, well, okay, maybe sometimes. But no, I really, when that, I mean, literally every light in the car went on, off, on, off, on, off. And I thought it was her. So I just thought, And then when she said, oh, that was weird, I said, you didn't do that? And she was like, no. And we were like, Wow, that's incredible right there. And then along with everything else we saw, it's awesome when you get to experience these things. Even if you don't get the videos or audios, it's amazing to get experience to experience these things.
That's great. Ian's starting to really pushing in that direction. Now that you guys have the same story, I just brought you. I didn't tell you this story. I just brought it up that a lot of people tell me before or after they see a Sasquatch, there's always some sort of anomaly in the sky or some lights in the upper part of the trees or lower part of the trees, and then pretty soon they see what looks to be like Sasquatch. I'll call them hominids, right? In anthropology, or proto-humans or proto whatever, kind of meandering around in the woods, crashing around at the same time. It's like they bring in their own dimension with them, not just the ship, but the radius area comes in with them from whatever dimension they move in from. So whatever they had in their home, whatever the ship came from, is now here. And so you're kind of like within the timelines going, oh, shit. But maybe you're seeing the past, or maybe you're seeing the future. You know what I mean?
So I'm just curious. I mean, I know you've got some great ideas. What do you think Bigfoot is?
I come from, I went to school for anthropology. I know a lot of guys that went out. I believe in, we have our own stories. We've been hunting and camping, and we're raised in the mountains, so we know the mountains. At first, as a scientist, I'm thinking it's Gigantopithecus. It's an extinct gorilla out of Asia that, the land bridge that kind of trapped its over, that traveled its way down. But then I'm like, no, I'm not seeing any evidence for that. I'm not seeing the evidence for that. And then I kind of stopped. I believed in them, but I didn't have an idea. I'm open to whatever idea. But then I started listening to people with the stories about the UFOs. The UFO, always a UFO. There's got to be something to this. It just seems to be every other one has got a UFO or something else was always there. And that's kind of what I'm thinking too. Maybe these interdimensionals, I believe in time travel. So interdimensionals are coming in, and not just the ship, but it's bringing in a radius around them if it's using magnetics to come in. So basically bringing a little bit of part of their world with them. So if they're from the past and you had early hominids, we have evidence for hominids. We didn't say they're humans. We're just saying hominids, which are loosey proto-humans or whatever primates, whatever stage of evolution they're in, if you believe in evolution. And they kind of bring it with them. If you have a highly populated area and they travel into a different dimension, it kind of might usher them with them. And so maybe in that area, as they leave, they kind of leave with them. In other words, the ship isn't just showing up. The entire area with the ship is showing up. So you're kind of seeing a time slip with the ships. That's my guess. Again, don't take it to the bank. But
yeah,
maybe you're seeing a time slip.
Question. Let me ask a question. With technology getting better, better cameras, better phones, drones in the air, you think by now there should be a clear picture of this thing in the woods? I mean, why can't we get a clear picture? I'm just asking an opinion.
There in I hope you don't mind if I answer this. In fact, I think all three of us should be answering it. But I just wanted to mention that, first of all, we just got a stabilizer. If you looked at our video, it was you see that, and that's natural for someone holding a camera. Now add excitement or fear, and that thing is going to be shaken even more. You know what I mean? Not only that, people don't have, when you see something that you've never believed that, oh my gosh, I'd ever see, you are going to be stuck in a moment of, people can't grab their cameras fast enough, even to catch even to catch a falling star. How can you catch a falling star unless you're ready with the phone up there? And they boo. So you don't get much time. And what do you girls think?
What was the question again?
I think you're right.
You took me off course there.
With our equipment that they have now, why is there not clear pictures? And I think Jenna's right, because you're not walking around with your camera on 24 hours a day. If you come across something like a deer jumping across the road in front of your car, are you going to get that on film? No. Why? Because it happens too fast.
Well, I think Tammy explained it earlier really clear. I mean, you said it really clear. You thought it was on, it wasn't on, you're on it, you're aimed at it. The other gal, you're going to turn it on. She's just holding it. Fucking still. Let's turn the goddamn thing on. You go deer hunting. you got a shot, man. My dad's always like, you might not hit it. It don't matter how close that buck is. Your heart's going, you're nervous. There's 1,000 things in your mind.
Well, and not only that, you have to understand, we've had experiences where everything has been drained, like all of our cameras, videos, cell phones. I mean, we're talking about a battery that Jen had charged. It was a 6-month battery that went boom, flat. And
I answered that question to you yesterday. Or you guys answered me this morning, I think. I don't know which one answered me because I watched one of your videos and your camera kept going off, on, and then I YouTube the message saying, "Was that a full battery?" And you said yes, and the backup battery was full. So that was interesting. That even though you're looking for Bigfoot with flashlights, something's draining like a paranormal, like a ghost. You think of a ghost haunting that using the energy to make itself. That's interesting that that's happening even out there in the woods with Bigfoot.
That makes sense.
We were trying to document the structure out there, and the sun went down on us, and all of our equipment just started going dead very quickly. And the only thing that we had left, because that big flashlight, you turn it on and it would turn right back off. So you just had to keep clicking it on, and eventually it doesn't turn back on at all anymore because that's telling you I'm going dead. The guide that we had out there, because that's on the reservation, so we had to have a tribal member guide with us, had been out there with us for a little while, and then he went back to the truck because his stuff went dead, and including a flashlight. So he went back to the truck, sat in the truck and warmed up for a while because it was fall. It was like October, and that's cold up here in Minnesota. And so he's sitting in the truck way down the way. And Jenna and I are out there, and I'm digging in my pack, and I had 2 headlamps that still had charge because we hadn't been using those, and my cell phone had 13% charge on it. So I started filming with my cell phone and headlamps, and when everything else was done, and we were going to leave, but as soon as I turned off a light, there was big movement around us real close as soon as we turned off the light. And, all the leaves were on the ground, so you could hear any little movement. Big movement came really close to us. And I was like, holy crap, turn everything back on.
Now, you have to understand, I mean, too, we're in these woods that have, wild dogs. Like bear. I mean, there's so many things to be careful of. So sometimes it is really, really scary. We do make, just putting it out there, we do make very good decisions. We don't make, silly decisions to do crazy things.
You did say you brought bear spray, the bare minimum, right?
No, Jenna bought it, but we didn't actually bring it with us. It was in the car.
I know you're tough, man, but at least make me feel better. Bring bear spray, man.
What we did end up getting these tiny little air horns that people can have on their boat, and so we had those in our pack. Like we each, like Jenna and I, not Tammy. Tammy will not wear a fanny pack, but Jenna and I wear fanny packs. Yes. And so we have these tiny little horns that are in the outside of our fanny pack that if we wanted to startle something, we could click the air horn.
Good.
And then, it will make a noise.
And people are probably wondering, well, if that runs out of air, how are you going to do it? I actually carry an animal whistle with me. And that thing, when you blow it, it hurts your own ears. That goes with me every time we go out, including we bring compass. We bring, multiple compasses and things like that. I even have one of those wristbands with a cord just in case we need to go in and we need to come out. You know what I mean? If it's real thick. So we do take great precautions.
Well, we have a question from the chat. He actually listened and wrote the word question. Perfect. That's awesome. Yeah. He wrote, have you ever had a personal experience before hunting for this hidden species, such as a ghost walking up the floor or seeing something no one else can see? So basically a paranormal before you even went out on a hunt.
Okay. So we are all 3 of us are psychic mediums and I've been working in the paranormal field for years prior to looking for Bigfoot. And Tammy does too. And Jenna, she talks to ghosts and stuff like that. So, this is something that we're very used to. I actually enjoy Bigfoot a lot more than that. I got hooked as soon as I went out for the first time, and I was like, this is way more fun.
Yeah.
It is. You get to go explore.
You
and
mentioned
it is-
something that the people in the crowd probably want to hear more about because they're huge in the Mandela Effect community. And you mentioned the word Mandela Effect in the beginning of the show. Did you do shows on Mandela Effect? I mean, do you believe in the theories of Mandela Effect?
I have experienced the Mandela Effect.
Well,
I have personally, and I was in. There's a quick story I could tell you about that, but there's lots of stories I could tell you about that. And my whole idea about what is the Mandela Effect, what is actually happening there, I have different ideas about that. But I'll tell you that there was one very shocking experience that I had as a little girl in Thief River Falls, Minnesota. There's a giant Indian statue that sits by the river, and there's one river that flows into the next river. And so the Indian statue is standing there looking at the spot where the one river flows into the other. And as a little girl, I was questioning about what is this Indian statue. And so my aunt took me to that park and she read to me what it said, because I think I was probably 3 years old. And she read to me about this, it was a woman, it was a female Indian, and she had an empty papoose, which her baby had been in. And the story went that she was working in the river, and the Indians at that time, Rockabye Baby in the Treetop, that song, that was from my tribe, because they used to hang the babies in the trees and the wind would blow and rock them. And then if they were working in the water, sometimes they would bring the cradle into the water, and the river movement would rock the babies to sleep. Well, she turned her back, she's working in the water, and the river took her baby. It was just gone. And so she spent forever looking and searching for the baby, and they never did find the baby. And she spent her life there at the river looking for her baby. And so then the story was that they named it the Thief River because it stole her baby. And so the statue was put up there of her looking at the river, waiting for the river to give her baby back, because it stole her river. So the river stole her baby. So this statue was on the way to my aunt's house. So every time I went to my aunt's house, I would look over at her and I would say, she's still waiting for the river to give her baby back. And from the age of 3 on up, every single time I drove past that statue, I looked over and I verbally said, she's still waiting for the river to give her baby back. And I acknowledged that. Okay, so then at the age mid 30s, I'm on my way to my aunt's house because my cousin's having a baby shower. And I'm driving past, I look over, I'm going to say it out loud because I always do. And I look over at the statue to acknowledge her, and all of a sudden the statue is a man.
Oh, shoot.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, what happened? And I stopped the car. I turned around. I pulled into the park. I stomped out to the statue. I'm looking at it. I'm like, who did this? Why did they change the statue? It's the same size. It's in the same place. It's still an Indian, but now it's a man. And instead of having an empty papoose on her back, he doesn't have anything on his back. And he's holding a tomahawk.
Oh, seriously.
It doesn't look anything the same, other than they were both Indians. They were both the same size, both staring at the river. And so then the story at the base of the statue talks about this is a chief. Chief Red Robe is what they called him, but his name really was Mustang. And that they had this area of land was given to them in the treaty, and then it was stolen back by the white people. And so the story goes that they named it the Thief River because they stole the land from them. So I'm like, this is not right. And I was so upset. I went to my aunt's house. I demanded to know why they changed the statue. And nobody knew what I was talking about. Nobody remembered it being a woman. And I'm telling you that this was a big part of my life. It's not.
I believe you.
Yeah.
I believe you.
And so after that, I was just really dumbfounded by how this happened. I searched the internet for information about when they changed the statue. I couldn't find anything. I found that they had erected the statue in the early 70s, and it was always this male Indian. But I did find a story. About the Indian woman. That was a true story. That really did happen in that location. But they didn't put up a statue to her there. So over the years after that, I would talk to people that I would encounter. And if they came from there, if they went to college there, because there's a college right next to that, I would ask, do you remember the statue by the park, by the river there by Northland College? And they'd say, yeah. And I'd say, can you tell me about the statue? What does it look like? Do you know the story connected to the statue? And they all said, well, it's an Indian. And then they would either say it's a man, and they would tell me the story if they knew it. But every once in a while, I come across somebody that tells me it's a woman with an empty papoose and that she's waiting there for the river to give her baby back every once in a while.
That feels good when you get somebody that remembers your same memory. I'm not joking. I'm like that. If you find somebody that has that, if you have one that nobody remembers, but you find the one person that has that same memory, it's kind of refreshing. You don't feel crazy. It takes the crazy out of you a little bit.
Any of the other two, Jenna, Tammy, have you both had a major Mandela Effect that happened in your guys' life?
Go ahead, Tammy.
Okay. Mine not as big as Jen's, but I will be driving sometimes on roads that I have driven for the past 14 years, and all of a sudden I'll see a building that was never there before. And we're not talking new construction. We're talking a church from the 1800s that was never there before. And all of a sudden I look over, I'm like, when did that get there? And they're always like, it was always there. I'm like, no, it wasn't. It wasn't there last week when I drove by here. So I've had things like that happen all my life.
Yeah, I really think it happens to all of us all the time. But unless you're paying attention, you won't notice because things are so similar. Even going into a restaurant, it can completely change, from 2 days prior. And you're thinking they couldn't have painted the walls and done this and done that over 2 days. Then you go back a week later and it's like, okay, this was really strange. That actually happened to Jen and I. We went over to, what was it, Mexican Village?
It was Paradiso.
Oh, it was Paradiso. Yeah, we both get out of the car and both of us, she came over to my car and it was like the air was thick. It was really strange. The air was thick and heavy. And she said, do you feel that? And I was like, ooh, yeah. And we noticed right away when we got out of the car. And Jen, I'll let you go ahead and kind of explain what happened.
Well, we just both we're noticing that it feels weird here today. The sky even had a weird hue to it that I hadn't seen before. I was like, the sky looks weird. Everything just felt weird. The air was thicker. It just was a weird day. And we walk inside the restaurant and there's this giant, it's probably 8 foot tall, Swatch size, bronze statue of an owl right to the right of the door. And I've looked at it. And I looked at Jenna and I'm like, when did they get that? And so I asked the lady at the counter who was going to seat us, I said, when did you get this owl statue? And she says, that's always been there for the last 11 years I've worked here. And I'm like, I come here all the time. That's never been here. I would have seen that.
It was the child, right?
No, the children.
The children,
The owl. The owl statue.
Yeah, but wasn't it the children? Wasn't it a statue of children prior to that? I'm trying to remember.
The children are in the entryway.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Yeah. But there was no owl statue. I would have seen
there wasn't.
And then even the stained glass windows were different colors.
The lighting was different. We're talking huge difference in lighting. Instead of being light, oh, beautiful owl. But instead of being light, it almost had a red hue to it.
Yeah.
Craziest things.
And the food was different.
It was plated different. The plates were, it was just strange. We even asked the waiter, we were like, what's the date today? Just to check, you don't want to sound like an idiot, be going, what's the date? But what year,
We started taking pictures.
You could have slipped in time and space, man. You guys could have slipped another dimension. You don't know.
I started taking pictures of everything because I'm like, what if we come back here? And we started going back there every week for a while just to check.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
there's a big mall in England, and I'm down here, and they've got these. It looks like an imperial, something you'd see in, like in Rome. It's beautiful Romanesque front end with these big, beautiful horses that cascade out like statue horses on the top entrance. And I thought they were cool, and I snapped pictures. Now, I'm not an idiot with the school for archaeology, so I leave a gap around. You guys know what I'm talking about. You leave context, right? You leave context. You don't just zoom in on the whole head and half the head is gone. You leave context. So I took a picture with context so you could see the whole outline of the body. And then some mates were going back over there, and I said, dude, look at them horses, man. And we all look up and said, you see unicorn horns? They got unicorn horns. I said, bullshit. Get the pictures, man. Get the pictures. So I pulled the pictures out, and now the horse head is out of context. You got half his head off the picture, and you don't even see the unicorn horn. You don't, it's completely, the picture is wrong. I take pictures correct. I know how to do the scientific. You girls know about the context when it comes to pictures. Even if you put a shoe next to a footprint, you use the shoe measurement to, to compare to the foot, So I had context. Oh, man, that's a bad picture, like a child took it in a hurry. And there was no unicorn in the picture, but the damn thing had unicorn horns now. So
I have to know.
Times, man.
So what about now? What is it now? Horses or unicorns? It is unicorns now?
Yeah, and there's lions in the front that changed too. There's some lions that completely changed. They had these big old lions. They looked ferocious at first, like real lions. And now you go back and they look almost cartoony, a little bit more cartoony with the lion's teeth and everything. And they've got testicles. So I'm not joking that,
did those change? You paid attention to them, so I need to know.
It's a good marker. So I took a picture of the testes to see if those change. Those have changed. They've gotten smaller, more statue.
Aww.
Before they were like real lions, and now they become statue mold. I know it's stupid, but you girls know what I'm talking about.
I'm so glad you pay attention to testes.
It's one of those on a statue that you're gonna get a good content. Take a picture of the horn, the whatever parts, the teeth. Because usually those are the things that might have a change that you can notice. You can notice the balls, right? You ain't gonna notice the side. You're gonna notice the balls. You're gonna notice the teeth. You're gonna notice the ears. But you don't, the rest of the body, you might. Maybe there's a muscle difference here. You don't know.
Yeah.
But I hit the hot spots. But like you was talking about, a lot of statues are changing with the Mandela Effect. A whole shitload of them.
Well, there's so much in this world that we have no idea about, and we know just a little bit. And with every little bit more we find, there's so many more questions. And we all want to know the truth. I mean, that's what we're all doing this for, right? I mean, we want to know the truth.
Well, I love it that you're all open-minded. You're not trying to dispute it. You're going with it. And I think that makes you better Bigfoot hunters because you have more of an open mind. You're looking at everything. Let me ask you a question. With all the research you guys have done with Bigfoot sightings, like say like a guy like me, I got my hunting gear on. I want to go look for Bigfoot. Is there with all your information that you have, is there like a state, a country where most of the sightings are coming from by any chance?
I think that Washington is pretty thick with Bigfoot sightings. However, I don't think that's the easiest place to find them.
No, our forests are thick.
The forests are thick. They're hard to get to. So there's a lot of places they can go to get away from you if you're coming at them.
We have a law here, right? That if you shoot Bigfoot in the state of Washington, you could be up for manslaughter.
Good.
It's a real law. It is a real law. It's kind of, unless you can prove that Bigfoot was attacking you, but I don't know.
It's on the books.
Because you made a video. One of you made a video with the footage of being in Washington. Mm-hmm. So you actually did a Bigfoot hunt right here?
Yeah, we did. We were speaking at the Sasquatch Summit last November in Ocean Shores, Washington.
I love that place.
We're scheduled to be at the Yakima Valley Bigfoot Con. We're the headlining speakers next month on April 17th and 18th in Toppenish, Washington. Is that correct?
Next month.
Yeah, that's what we're wondering that too.
Down here in this state.
They already bought our plane tickets, but they did buy insurance on them, so hopefully they could get their money back if they end up canceling it.
Okay, that's about 2-3 hours away where I live.
Yep. So we're scheduled to be there next month. Even though the event is actually a day, and then they're having a VIP dinner the night before, we're actually scheduled to be there for a week. And I did do an interview on my YouTube channel with Mel Scahan. He is with the forestry department for the Yakima reservation there.
Which are amazing, by the way. If you get a chance, check those interviews out. They're fabulous.
I wonder if I can rent a room out and do a live show there.
You probably could.
Conference.
You probably could. Now, when he's also, Mel Scahan was also on the TV show Travel Channel's Expedition Bigfoot episodes 3 and 4. He was on there. And he's talking about some of the things that happened with him and Bigfoot on the reservation there. So when I had him on my show for the YouTube channel, he talked about we did 4 segments, and one he talked about the fire tower, the Bigfoot encounter at the fire tower. And there's a fire tower out there in the mountains that they would man during the summer months. Otherwise, it gets snowed in the wintertime. And so they would drop off a worker there who would man the tower during the day, and then they slept in the cabin at the base of the tower at night. And there was a lady there who would get dropped off for 5 days. And she kept hearing something outside in the dark, and she thought, it was elk or something like that. So she tried to see if she could be stealthy and see if she could catch sight of the elk outside, because she could hear something big moving out there. And she finally caught sight of it at the window. It was looking at her through the window, and it was a very large Bigfoot.
Wow.
And it scared her. She was very startled. And she called down for help on the radio, and the forestry guys went up there. And Mel was one of the guys that went up there, and they found the footprints. And he said, we found the footprints from the one that she saw, but there were 2 others that she didn't see. And they were surrounding the cabin, and the forestry department decided that people shouldn't stay there at night anymore. So they only go up for a day. They go up, do their shift, and come back home again. And I said on my show, I said, hey, could we stay at that cabin when we come up there? He said, sure, you can. So guess where we're supposed to be staying next month?
Oh, shoot.
Isn't that exciting? And you know what? We should take a lot of videos. Maybe we could set up the stabilizer so it won't be any of this.
Right? and Mel has a drone. Mel has a drone. So, and I did some remote viewing for him, geographic remote viewing for him when we were there in November. He asked me if I could remote view some of his locations, and I was spot on, and I was telling him all the right things that he had experienced in the same places. I was dropping GPS pins right in the right spots and telling him what I was seeing there. So he's really excited about that. So between our remote viewing capabilities and his drone and being up in that remote spot where the Bigfoot are that they were surrounding the cabin before, we're really hoping to have some good stuff. Hopefully they'll still have it. I really hope so.
Well, they should just keep. They should keep the tower for you girls anyway. A lot of hikers, man. A lot of missing hikers. I mean, seriously, why not have a remote viewer / fire watcher? I mean, the best combo ever. You get these hikers get lost every year there. Oh God, have a nice remote viewer on hand. We don't want to call it that because scientists will go, "Oh, this is poo poo." No, we have a fire watcher that happens to have an extra skill at the same time. I mean, seriously, on the fire watchers must be remote viewers on the side, and then you guys could really help out with a lot of missing hikers. That'd be kind of cool too.
That would be cool.
If we could help people, oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah, really help people out.
Yeah,
because I think there's a thing going. I think it's 400,000. I can't remember. There's a thing about people missing in the parks. I don't know. You guys might have heard about that. A lot of people missing in the parks. Like 40,000 to date, 400,000, something like that. Something with a 4 in it, but a lot
Missing
of
411.
Yeah, you probably heard of it, the 411 or the 4. Okay, so you girls have heard about it. There's an actual guy out there doing a book on it. He did a book, and they're hikers that. If you know about it, talk about it. It's an incredible story.
I've actually met David Pilates at different events, but unfortunately, it was events that we were just so jam packed with. It was just Jenna and I at that time, and so when we're manning the booth, we have a hard time getting time to visit everybody else who's there. So we didn't get the opportunity to spend much time talking to him, which was unfortunate because I really wanted to talk to him.
Yeah.
So yeah, but he does the work where he's looking into these cases of people that go missing in the parks, and he looks at the cases that have weird circumstances around them. Yes. And so that's very interesting. The Missing 411 by David Pilates. You should check into it.
Yes, it is interesting. I mean, they found people with their clothes folded, folded in the forest, folded off, folded. There's no water. There's nowhere they're jumping off, and it's just their clothes were removed and nothing else. Dogs go stray. Dogs are like, there's nothing here. They smell the clothes and then they stop. It's like there's nothing. They can't find these people. And they find them like 1,000 miles away from where they were supposed to be and naked.
And their clothes were in the park. What happened?
Yeah,
Right?
yeah. What the fuck is going on?
crazy.
Shifting in parallel lines. Are they coming across areas and all of a sudden waking up 1,000 miles away and then they're lost? It's kind of weird out there in the forest, man.
It is, and it's weird in many. I mean, it's weird all across the world. I mean, we've got some strange things happening. But going back to the Yakima event, I'm really hoping if they do decide to postpone it or to cancel it, I'm really hoping that they may do something online for people too. So I don't know. Hopefully,
The ban is only in King County area. It's a 250 people where you can't have no more than 250. Yakima's not under no ban at the moment. There's no cases down in Yakima, so as of right now, it's safe.
It's too cold.
Yeah, it's too cold.
Jen, what were you saying?
Another interesting thing about that event is they really wanted to focus on women. So they're having us be the headlining speakers, but a lot of the speakers are women. They're bringing in the women, and I'm part Native American. I know I look pretty light, but I'm from the Red Lake Band of Chippewa Indians in northern Minnesota, and so they asked me if I would do a lot more of the Native thing because they expect to have a high Native population in attendance. So that's what they're really hoping for, and they really want to show this women power in the Bigfooting world. So Bob Gimlin is supposed to be there. He lives right there, so we're excited to see him again. We absolutely love Bob. We love Bob.
Oh, he is the sweetest thing. Oh my goodness. You look into his face and he's all smiles and he holds out his arms to hug you, and his hugs are so special. You just want to hug him back, and then he looks in you in the eyes and it's like, oh, you're so awesome, Bob.
Webpage, David P's web or YouTube page.
And I absolutely know that he's in his 80s, but that man can melt to any lady's heart. I'm just saying, he is just amazing. Yes.
No, I want to go. I'm still there. That sounds exciting.
That does sound
I
exciting.
don't have to fly. I can just drive.
Well, it's genius. Sasquatch
There's good food out there in Yakima. There's some good food out there.
Genius. Guys are like, oh, no, man, you don't have an idea. These are males. Males are out there. They're running. They're the ones looking, and there's no threat to the females. So they're like, oh, they're females. They can smell. There's no threat. They're going to come right up to you, probably eat out of your hand. Get the camera.
I don't know if it's going to be that easy, but we're really excited to hopefully, make some contact to get there and feel some kind of camaraderie a little bit. The more you go somewhere, the more you're hoping that they will trust you. And for me personally, I would love for us to make that connection and learn to communicate. And I'm sure, and there's so many other women's teams out there, Bigfoot women team. We're not the only one, but we love to talk to other women in the Bigfoot world too, as well as men. The Bigfoot world is made up of so many wonderful people. I was just stunned at how wonderful and kind-hearted almost 95% of them are. I have to say that because there's a couple out there that aren't part of that 95.
Beyond Yakima, is there any hunts that's coming in the near future?
Any what?
Hunts.
In Yakima?
I mean,
not hunting, researching. Eric's still thinking the kids were deer hunters. No, you're researching. Any more research?
That's not the word hunt.
Basically, what are we going out next?
Going out in the woods in the near future?
Oh, well, definitely in Washington, we're doing that. We generally don't say where and when we're going somewhere until after we've done it. Because we just don't want anybody showing up in the woods and trying to play with us, or we want to know that what we're finding is real. So we sneak into areas. We have magnets we put on the car that say She-Squatchers, and we have gear that we wear that says She-Squatchers. We don't display any of that. We're like zooming in, and we come in on days that people would never expect, not even on a weekend.
But we've done weekends too. See, never know.
Yeah, you just never know.
That's smart because when you announce it, I guarantee you there's gonna be a bunch of teenage dudes out there with monkey suits on, just on purpose, playing games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't
Well,
care, man. We're
it's-
gonna mess with them.
it's
Go
so
in incognito, stay quiet about it. Don't give locations. Don't give nothing. Clean context. I mean, sneak in, sneak out with your material. Don't let nobody know.
It's
On our
always
way-
fun though. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Jen.
On our way out, we'll stop at the local cafe and have lunch and talk to the locals. But we're like, hey, we just got done. We were here
Good.
we were here for a few days.
We take different vehicles sometimes, so I mean, no one can really tell what we're driving.
Smart.
Yeah.
Smart. Yeah. Yeah. You don't want people out there playing like the Blair Witch Project. You remember when that came out, and all of a sudden,
Right.
there was just Eagles. What I'm talking about. There was a rash of Blair Witch Project. The witches in the woods. I'm like, oh, here we go. Here we
Mhm.
go.
Every kid is out there looking for the Blair Witch.
I
Blair
know.
Witch. You're looking for the Wild Witch of the wood. No, there's no Wild Witch of the wood, man. No, they don't look that way if they're out there. No.
Actually, you just never know. You don't know what those things out there looking like. Just saying.
Yeah, that's true.
There
That's
could be
true.
so many
They don't
different
have to
things.
be witches.
What?
I'm saying they don't have to be witches that's out in the woods.
Exactly. I mean, there's things out there that we have no clue about. See, Tammy's smiling because she's just like, mm-hmm. Go on, Tammy, talk about it.
Well, let's hear it. What we got?
Well, I know that every time I go out into the woods, there's a witch in the woods because I'm a witch. So that's amusing to me. Go ahead, tell your stories.
I got one of your videos here. Let me see. Is there anything interesting in this video right here?
This is the video where our equipment is going dead. Our big flashlight is on and off, on and off, on and off. And so we're not looking for Bigfoot here. We're trying to document the structure. We're trying to show you what it looks like and give you a tour of it, but the lights won't stay on so we can do that. And that was so frustrating because it took us a long time to get a guide to take us back out there. Because we can't go out there without a tribal member guide. Now, what's exciting is that they changed a bunch of stuff, and currently I'm being accepted to become a tribal member. So I'm just waiting for my paperwork to arrive in the mail. And so hopefully this summer we plan to be out there a whole lot more looking for Bigfoot. I can say that because it's a huge reservation, and they probably wouldn't know where we were going to be at or when we were going to be there.
Yeah.
You have another video.
And they wouldn't have access to it anyway.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
You have
If you're
another video
trying
called
to-
Night Vision, October 15, 2017, anomaly about night vision. What's in that video?
Okay, so between 8 minutes and 17 seconds and 8 minutes and 21 or 22 seconds, there is that camera is being held by our native guide who is out there with us. And that's at that same structure. And that's before he went to the car because everything went dead. And there was something that flew right past him. It goes really fast. It came right at him. And we tried to slow it down. And it looks like a pie slice of light that goes right past him. Now, this is in October. The bugs are dead. It's not a bug. It doesn't even look like a bug anyway.
Well, let me play it, and we can talk about it with it.
Sorry, are you at the 8:17 mark?
I thought I did. Let me go back. Let me make sure.
Eric. This is the vehicle.
8:15, so I'm right there.
Okay, here we go. Did you see it? It just flew right past him.
Go
Did
back.
you see it?
We go.
It's really
That's
fast.
Let me go back. Right there. I'll go back to 8:14 and then go forward. There it is. See
It's
the light.
fast.
No, that's a light. There it is. You see it? It just flew right past him.
Yeah. What was that? All the leaves are on the ground, right?
All the leaves are on the ground. It's fall.
Huh.
The bugs are dead.
All the leaves are brown
Let me go back to
and the
8:14.
sky.
That song popped in my head too.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
There
there
it
it
is,
is.
yeah.
And who was that singing?
Down on my knees.
Scott down on my knees and I began to pray. Oh yeah. Sorry, I love that song.
Mandela Effect song now. Yeah, it's changed a little bit. I think it was
Yeah.
I forgot to pray.
Oh yeah, I
got
totally
that-
make up my own words. I just try to deal with
I got
the
that
with
on my
the
knees. I started to pray. And I was
Gotta
like,
hit the
I got that on my
notes.
knees, I forgot to pray. It's like
Oh,
what?
what did I say? I got down on my knees, began to pray. What did I?
Began
Yeah.
to pray. Yeah, began to
Yeah.
pray. Now it's like I forgot to pray or
That's
something
my
weird.
favorite part of the video when you started singing. Like, she's having fun.
She got a
Oh
good voice.
yeah. You know what? That's
That's
what
great.
life is about. Life is about being yourself. Why try to be someone else? Life is so much more fun when you can be yourself and enjoy it and be around people who enjoy you rather than think that you should be someone else.
I gotta
Yeah.
say about the singing. Jenna's a really good singer, but with singing with Bigfooting, I gotta tell you, there's a connection here. There was a time when we were at the stick structure when we first found it. There was a time when I started to feel like maybe we shouldn't be here, like our welcome, because we weren't alone in there. Something was throwing rocks at me when I was walking away from Jenna. So we weren't alone in there. And we spent some time there when we first found it. Okay. So when there was a time when we were looking at the structure, the Jenna just started singing, and all of a sudden that whole feeling of maybe we shouldn't be here went away. So I think the singing helped kind of smooth things out a little bit.
I do too.
Nothing wrong with that. I bring a harmonica with me when I go out in the woods. I bring a harmonica with me. I know what you're talking about. Sometimes when it becomes like, it literally, people say it's purple up in the sky. Yeah, it's purple. It's fucking, there's like no air circulation. We're in a pocket of something wrong here. Totally wrong here. It's stagnant. I'll play a harmonica a little bit just to kind of, and then the breeze starts coming again. I'm like, okay, feel a little better. I feel a little better. But a beautiful woman's voice, especially when you're out there Bigfoot hunting, probably soothes the common beast out there. You know what I mean? Like music calms the beast.
Well,
Absolutely.
Jen's not lying. There was really an aggressive feeling, and I don't know if I subconsciously started singing or if it was just because I always do. But there was that. It was getting a little bit. And yeah, after that, even Jen, right afterwards, she told me how she felt, and I was like, yeah, I get it. So I'm so glad that sometimes in being, and that's another thing, being yourself is part of the game. Getting out there with your true intent. They know real. We know real.
Yeah.
You know, when we meet people, we know if you're real or not. Please don't be fake. You know, so I'm sure they're the same way. If they are smart enough to be able to communicate with each other and learn a language, or be able to stack rocks or communicate in all these different ways, they're gonna know. If you're going out there with a bad intent or an intent
they
to
can
harm.
sense it like an animal. Animals do. I mean, think about it. A dog will growl at you if he thinks you're a piece of crap. I walked out there. I walked the dog, and for the most part, the dog's fine. But it'd be a guy in a nice shirt, just clean, and he's growling.
Well,
I'm like, there's something wrong with that guy.
I can honestly tell you, that's one of the reasons that dogs get angry and bark. But I know being able to kind of read animals and speak to animals, we all are animal communicators. Those guys are probably a lot more advanced than I am. But sometimes when I look into a dog's eyes who's been in pain, I get sucked into their eyes, and it's like they're shocked, and then they're like, and it's just like, oh, and you feel that. You can feel that pain, and it's just like they got peeked at. And I don't mean to do it, but that's another reason why I think some of those animals act that way. When you look at them and you really see, they hurt too.
So basically, Bigfoot, you think maybe Bigfoot could feel what you're feeling? They know that you're a good person on the inside.
No, we can. As human beings, I think we all make our own judgment calls. And so, and also we can receive information. Why can't they?
Tammy can see auras on people and living things and trees. And, I can see them too, but I have to look hard for them. Tammy just naturally sees them. So,
Tammy, do I have a good aura?
Eric. Ew.
Well, with all that stuff behind you, it's really hard to see your aura.
Yeah.
Both of you, everybody has an aura. And
I
you can
see
see
aura.
it better on a
Horrible.
light background than you can a dark background, or when it's a busy background. But yeah, I mean, I can look out across a field and the trees have auras. I can see it just about anywhere. So I know that, at night it's harder to see the auras because there's not a light reflecting for you to see behind it, but it is possible to see them at night too. So I've been working on that, trying to get that to be stronger so that can help us. But I think with the three of us and all of our gifts, we got it. We have it on lockdown. So I think that, everything else is just bonus.
And I think that being able to see those auras, Tammy, you are such an asset. I mean, not only with everything else you do, but the auras are just something I can't wait to explore a lot more. So,
I want the adventure part.
Yes.
The adventure, the auras is bonus, but I like the adventure. That's what I like about it.
Yes.
Are you vegetarians? Are you're vegans, or are you just meat eaters? I'm a meatitarian.
Oh yeah, I like
sponges.
I do too. Dang it, give me a steak, a hamburger.
Okay. I just had to ask. That's cool. I'm happy you guys came on. This is great.
It's been fun. Thank you.
Yeah. I can't wait to see more shows. And these people in the sidebar, everyone's desperate here because a lot of people that watch our shows and other shows, live shows, they don't watch TV anymore. Especially people with the Mandela Effect and are people that are moving into the fixed Earth ideas. They're just everything they've been lied to for so long. That's the common theme we have here. Everyone's been lied to for so long, and we're getting so much new information. The truth is coming out, like slapping us in the face with it, that we like to watch each other's stuff. So we're like, oh, I like them. I saw them on that show. And so, again, make sure you promote yourself while you're here. Let's get your link out, get your shows out, let everyone in the sidebar go, hey, we got a new show, man. We got something cool to watch. So that's kind of cool having you on here for that.
Oh, that's cool.
A YouTube page. They actually have a .com page, a web page.
Yeah, wait, She-Squatchers. She-Squatchers.com is our website. And at the top of the page on our website, you can find links to different things. You can find our Facebook page there. And that's where we're going to post most of our up-to-date things is going to be on Facebook. So please like and follow us there. And then there's also a link to our events page that shows where we're going to be. The things that we have scheduled so far this year. So you're going to see links to the Yakima Valley Bigfoot Conference in April. You're going to see the ECBRO Virginia Bigfoot Conference, which is the third year that we've been scheduled there to come in and be the featured speakers at the ECBRO Virginia Bigfoot Conference. And where else are we going to be? Oh, we're going to be at the Smoky Mountain Bigfoot Conference, which is Gatlinburg, Tennessee in July. That's a really big one. It was funny. They contacted me and said, we intentionally wanted you to be on our speaker lineup this year, but we got filled up so fast. And then we're like, oh crap, we wanted the She-Squatchers. So they're like, could you still come and maybe run our encounters segment? So we're going to be running the encounters segment for them. Cool. So yeah. But there's going to be a lot of big names at that one. A lot of big names at the Yakima Valley one. Russell LaCourte will be there. Bob Gimlin will be there. Lots of awesome things. Thank you, Martin, for subscribing to our channel. I got to tell you, we were challenged by another YouTuber out in Washington. He very publicly challenged us to a YouTube subscriber race. And so whoever wins April 18th when we're out there has to buy the other one breakfast. But because we're headlining speaking at the event, we really can't allow him to win because he'll make a really big deal out of that. So we have to win this. So please, everybody, go subscribe to our channel at She-Squatchers Official on YouTube because we need to win this race.
Well,
yeah,
I know.
Yeah, they'll videotape. You got a very public. So
you got a person right here who's pretty huge in the YouTube community, Karen B.
Yeah.
I know she'll help you get more subscribers. So Karen, do your magic.
I was going to mention somebody had commented that they learned how to.
Karen B, right there.
Was that Karen? Yes, I was just reading up. Karen, that's awesome that you learned how to do auras, read auras. How did you learn? Oh, well, I'm sorry, you're not on, but you go ahead and type your answer.
She has her own show. She has her own show. She's got a big following. Holds it up herself, man. She's in there too. She's a pioneer like you girls, you know.
Nice.
She's in there. So that's good. That's good. I mean, we're not very good looking men, so we try to, keep the ugly people on here, but every once in a while we have to break the rules and bring the ladies on. We gotta bring up our subs.
I thought the beard was pretty in right now. Isn't the beard?
Oh
just
yeah,
like the
I
in-
don't know. Is it? I don't know.
Yeah.
I started growing it in 2016 when I woke up with the effect. It's like the Mandela stuff was going crazy, and I had allergies. I worked in museums, and so I was always allergies, and so I grew the beard because of the
Yes,
allergies.
Karen, come on, Karen. Come on.
she's I'm not going with those crazy guys.
Who had, I mean, for a little while there were all these shows with bearded men, and pretty soon it was like, wait a minute, what shows are these? Hey,
Hello.
Hello, Karen.
oh, you
Hi,
Karen?
ladies.
Hey, Chickadee, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Fabulous. Glad to have you join us.
Thank you. I've been listening. I really love. I'm enjoying listening to you guys. I subbed your channel. I'm into it. I love it. I love your approach to the sneaky approach, because I always tell people, I'm like, Bigfoot finds you. You don't find Bigfoot. If you go out there and you make a bunch of noise and you act like an idiot, Bigfoot is not going to have anything to do with you.
Well, see, Jen also has a nice little thing that she does here, a little sneaky approach. She will pretend to take selfies and is actually taking pictures behind her. So it's really interesting. She's caught a couple of different things. Have you, like, what all did you find, Jen? I know you saw a few things.
Oh, when we were looking for the goat man at what's the name of that?
Whoa. Okay, Goat Man. Fill us in. What's up with the Goat Man? That's you.
We were in Louisville. We were in Louisville at the it's called the Trellis. What is it called? I can't remember the name of it. Oh, it's not in my brain today. But it's where the Goat Man supposedly lives. And so we were on our way to an event in Kentucky, and we decided to stop there and have a look, see if we could see Goat Man. And so I had the woods behind me, and I decided I was going to start taking selfies, but actually point the camera kind of behind me and see if I could see anything sneaking up behind me. And, you know, sometimes you see something going on back there. So that was very interesting. Yeah.
Is it like a Baphomet looking dude?
It looks like, you know, if you ever seen Pan.
Yeah. Okay.
Goat Man looks like Pan.
Okay. They're like satires, right? Well, satires.
Yep.
Half man, half. They hang out with Dionysus.
Yes.
The god, yeah, the wine god, yeah. He hangs out with the satires and the whatever lings, the halflings, stuff like that. Which is a huge Mandela effect, people. Now Dionysus comes from Zeus's leg. He's born of a man. It wasn't in my time. I know mythology. Dionysus is now born in Zeus's leg. He has his way with a beautiful woman. She says, "May I see you in human form?" He says, "I can't do that because it's not good. You'll explode into flames." She says, I'm not going to blow up, but whatever the myth goes on. He shows himself in human form. She explodes into flames. It's nothing but dust. He pulls out of the dust. Oh, damn, you've been conceived. So he cuts a hole into his thigh, places his living child into his thigh, goes about his normal life as the Zeus god, and then he grows into a baby and then a child, and he lets him run free into the forest. And well, he's got a son that he himself grew into his own body, just like Athena in his head. So I knew he had a daughter out of his head, but he never had a son out of his leg.
Athena came from his head.
Yeah, Athena came from his head. And now he's got Dionysus from his leg. I have never heard of that before. I never heard he grew out of Zeus's leg. So it goes back to your Goat Man. So Dionysus now hangs out with Goat Man in the forest.
Yes.
Thanks to Zeus. This place is becoming mythology, man, with the unicorns and everything.
Right?
Let me ask a question about aura. Because Karen, you said I've learned how to do aura. How do you learn something like that? Is it something you have to have inside you, and you just got to learn how to find that power to do that?
No. Okay. Well, the way I see it is all of this type of stuff, it's something that everybody has the ability to do. Some people have tapped into these abilities. Some people have not. Some it's stronger in some than in others than it is, that sort of thing. But what the way I learned is I actually watched this video by this woman. Her name's Cynthia Sue Larson. She's this woman, she's a physicist, and she runs this website called Reality Shifters, and she talks about reality shifts, Mandela Effect. You guys are into, you should know who she is,
Well,
right?
she was on my show before. She was on my show.
Yeah, okay. So she has a video on her channel that says learn how to see auras in 5 minutes. So I watched it and I was like, oh, that's how you do it. It's so easy. So it's like basically she's like holding up her hand in front of a, you know, like a white wall or a gray wall. Like she was saying, you have to have a lighter background so you can see the color of the aura better. But it's like if you look at your hand and instead of looking at your hand, you look at the space between your fingers or the space right outside, okay, and sort of let your eyes kind of go in and out of focus there, and you'll start to see, you know, this sort of glow around your body, and the color that you're seeing when it's sort of when your eyes are going in and out of focus and you're looking at that space between your fingers, that is the color of your aura.
Oh.
More or less. I mean, Cynthia probably describes it better than I do, but that's
pretty good. Certain colors have certain emotional feelings, right? Certain, if you're angry, you're like red, or what's the anybody know the color? Okay. Tammy's like, yeah.
She might know more about the colors, what they mean and stuff than I do, but because I'm just sort of getting into learning about even being able to see them. So
soon, women in this new Mandela Effect world of Ryan Spur, you ladies are in charge. You're gonna have magic powers, all of you.
Tammy.
Was there
Is
ever
your-
a doubt?
The colors. Can you explain the colors, Tammy?
I'm sorry.
Can you explain the colors?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, yellow is thought. Pink is stubbornness. Anger or passion usually is red. Black is like very angry, negative, depressed. Blue is more of a pure soul, a magical soul. Purple is like that you're connected with a divinity when your aura is purple. Usually that comes on the top of your head, you know, when you have a purple aura. Children, like a pregnant woman, that you can see the aura around her belly is white because the child hasn't been born yet and it's like still developing. And there's lots of colors, you know, it just depends. Green is healing. Sickness is gray. Sometimes frustration is gray, like if you're irritated with somebody. So it depends on the person as well, but mainly those are the colors and how they work.
Okay.
Deception. Tell them about deception.
Oh, what color is deception?
Well, deception and not nice people usually is gray. Black is for people like very negative energy. People who have very negative energy, who have thoughts of harm for other people, their energy is black.
I need to turn my light on.
Tammy, isn't it true that sometimes you can see the like more of a gray aura and a gray color to people when they're sick too, right?
Yeah. Gray is a very different one because it can be for illness, it can be for irritation, it can be for being upset. You know, it can be a lot of different things. You have to take that into consideration with other things that are going on. You know, they can have gray aura connected with yellow. You know, they may be having, you know, thoughts that they shouldn't be having about somebody, or you can have gray with black and they're a very depressed, sad person. So, you know, it just depends. For me, I can't speak for everybody what they see, but for me, when one of my friends is ill, I can see it. It's usually gray. They'll have a gray fog almost over them is when they're ill.
See, I have a hard time seeing auras. Jen had actually had a class for people to learn to see auras, and I really, really wanted to see auras. And during this time, we each took turns, or actually, you know, a few of us would sit up, and people would say what they saw, the auras that they saw. And I had tried to see an aura around this woman, but there was two people who had passed that kept coming through. So I didn't get to see the aura, but I got to see a couple of people, and I explained both people. And she went, oh my gosh, I told her something that was going to happen the next day. And she called, or the next time I saw her, she was like, oh my gosh, it happened the very next day, just like you said it. But I couldn't see the auras. So I'm really excited, you know, like Karen, I'm kind of excited to find that thing that you were talking about, that website. So I can see if I can do that.
Jenna, did you practice on the trees? I would say practice on the trees. See?
You're right.
Yeah, and any
Well, and
plant,
sometimes
really
those
anything
things
that's
take
living.
precedence. You know, you may be there trying to read somebody's aura, but those spirits are there saying, hey, we know that you can see us. You're going to take care of this. So sometimes things just take precedence over that.
Yeah, you're right. And they really do. They will want you to stand up in completely inopportune times. And it's like, oh, I'm not going to do this. I'm sorry. And so if you don't contact this person, they will send that person over to you. You will get the message to them, whether you go to them or not. They will come to you.
I've had that happen with really persistent ones. And I'm like, I am absolutely not doing that. Go away, go away, go away. And they keep coming back. I'm like, I'm not doing that. And then eventually I end up doing that. So, you know, I'm like, I don't want to call this person and tell her that. I'm sorry. I just don't want to. And
I screwed up one time. And I'm a guy. I don't look at auras. Okay. I'm not an aura person at all. I do science, but my ex-wife at the time, she was pregnant. First time my wife was pregnant, and she had a glow. Okay, so over time, you know, you're a husband and you got a wife, and you get used to seeing that glow. It comes to you after a while. I could see it with my bad eyes, my weird eyes. I'm like, my God, I can see her glowing like crazy. So the second time, she had another kid, another pregnancy, and she's glowing again. So I could see it. I'm like, this is cool. This is as far as my glowing or auras go. So divorce, long life, 10-year, decade later, I'm at work. I'm at Museum of Flight, and I'm walking by, and one of the hostess gals is sitting at this real round table for information. And I go by, and this is embarrassing for me. I got embarrassed because I walked by, and I stopped, and I said, oh, shoot. I said, how long have you been pregnant? And she looked at she's a young gal. She might be like 19 years old. She goes, what are you talking about? Oh, my God. I said, I'm sorry. I thought it was she maybe thought I was calling her fat. I thought I was embarrassed. I swear I'm not lying, by the way. On my life, man, not during the apocalypse. I don't lie. I'm not lying. So I said, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I forget what I said. I was embarrassed. I went away. I went back to work, and like 3 days later, dude come and say, hey, man, how can you see people pregnant? And I said, what are you talking about? She's pregnant. I go, what? She didn't know. Oh,
so you're the reason why she probably got the test.
She got a test. That's what I said. How did you know? I said, you got a little bit of soft baby fat growing on you. I was a guess. I didn't want to say I saw a glow.
Yeah, and that's what a lot of times you can't say that around people. And this is the thing too. When you're getting information like that, I've been literally told, don't talk to her about this. Don't bring it up. And they'll keep asking, and you'll finally bring it up, and then you'll figure out the reason why you were not. And then you think, why didn't I just listen? Why did I do it? But you know, they really want to hear these things, and when they hear it, they sometimes are not ready for it.
Well, it became a joke. Some of the gals are like, oh, I'll just come to you and ask it. I won't take a pregnancy. Shut up. I'm not telling you nothing. But there was a housekeeper that I work with every day. And I come up we're having lunch. I said, you're pregnant. She goes, what? And she already had 3 kids. I said, you're pregnant, honey.
And did she know that you could see it like it?
She went home and she goes, I'm pregnant. I said, yeah, I'm telling you. I just said, because I can see this certain, I don't say glow. I say, you've got baby fat to you. It shines a little.
I'm going to tell you right now, women would much rather hear that they're glowing.
Rather be told that we have a glow than we have fat.
Yeah, anytime you woman, do not say that ever again.
I'd rather be told I'm
glow is okay. Don't say that.
Yeah. I don't know. I was being nice.
He is divorced.
I am divorced. I couldn't help it. It was like I was in a congratulation mood. Like, oh my God, like good for you, you know. But there was no good for you because that person didn't know.
It was different than your experience. Basically, I'm sure she was quite.
Yeah. They thought I was a psychic. Nah, man. Nah. I just had a pregnant wife at one time. I just know the glow. Mm-hmm. I can see it. I got bad eyes. I got weird eyes. I can see that weird haze in front of you. There's like a haze.
I think that's awesome. You still, I mean, do you still see that then?
Yeah, yeah.
So
Some people-
pregnant
yeah,
women,
put a
pregnant
thumb over
women
a
from
camera
all
lens,
around.
like a thumb over a camera lens with a light kind of fixtures through it. Doesn't come quite. It comes in unclear but brighter, like that. So, but I don't say nothing. I don't say nothing. Because they might not know and want to know. I don't want to be privy to them going to like some clinic or something, doing something bad. I'm not saying nothing.
Yeah. It's neat. It's a neat party
It's
trick.
a neat thing to have. I didn't ask for it. I was just a victim of it. So
Don't call it a victim. These are gifts.
guys can't say that. Oh, by the way, you're pregnant. I just want
Yeah.
to throw that at you. A complete stranger or like a family member, it still comes off freaky. It don't come off right as a guy.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe you should have like some kind of sign you can hold up, like,
Yeah,
I don't mean this.
I would hint to if I knew the guy friend, I'd hint to, hey man, you should maybe have her have a test. I don't know.
Yeah. But
Otherwise, congratulations.
Yeah.
But it might not be yours. You don't know. You don't know. I mean, it might not be his either. Don't
Oh
get in.
yeah.
I stay away. That was the last time I ever did that. Ever. No more.
Yeah. Well, especially the fat comment, not right. Don't ever do that again. Yeah.
Fat and saying the word fat to any woman is off limits. That should just
Yeah,
go completely out of your vocabulary.
You're around the glowing part. You got your skin looks great.
A lot of people say that pregnant women glow, though. I don't think that would come off as strange. I think it's okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you, Karen. Thank you. Yeah.
I think it's okay.
Jenna, I know Jen said like all three of you have like abilities. Did we talk about what your abilities is, Jenna?
Sure. Well, basically, I don't like the word psychic to explain myself. I believe, well, it just sounds better. It's more, it just makes sense to me by calling myself a receiver of information, because I receive all sorts of different information, whether it is a message from someone who's passed, whether it is a preview of getting into an accident to try to make me not get into it, which usually I always get into it anyway, but I try to avoid it. There's also times when you can hear and speak with spirit. I've helped spirit cross over before. And it's amazing because when these things happen, my higher self comes out, my higher me, and I speak so eloquently, and the things that I say it's almost like it's coming from something else, somewhere else, someone else. And I'm sure that's me, my higher self. But, and often, because I also do readings too, I like to do them for friends, but I like to do them for people that I don't know even more, because then I can make sure that what I'm, it's all coming from my source. So, but yeah, I mean, not only that, you name it, I'm probably.
So when you go on like on a Bigfoot hunt, you can kind of maybe sense and feel he's around you somewhere, like kind of like you can point him out a little bit.
Well, I think all three of us together have great abilities, and together we are amazing. Jen is actually kind of somewhat in tune with a frequency. So we can be driving 55 miles down a road, and she can literally say, wait, stop. Can we just go back here? I saw a road. We just need to go down that road. Well, guess what? We end up finding things. That's where we found these prints, and that's how we found them. Jen's frequency. It's amazing.
Well, we had the witch goddess on our channel 3 weeks ago. She was explaining to me that if you get multiple people with abilities, when they're together, it actually gets stronger. And so I can see where three of you are together, it's even stronger.
I actually, a long time ago, I had seen Jen, Tammy, and I in a dream, and we had met. Well, actually, I don't know, it was really a dream, but we were all talking, and we were all in our white robes, and we were in a place, and we were discussing things that we don't know about in this place here on Earth, in this, what would you call it?
Fixed, beautiful place.
Yes. Yes.
But
yeah, I really think that Jen and Tammy and I have got a really special bond, and these girls I would lay down my life for. I mean, they're just amazing. And I also saw us in a triangle, and to me that meant that we are the perfect little group that needs to be
Perfect.
working together.
Yeah, that's good. I'm just me and Eric by ourselves. I just got him. Our older brother died, so
I'm sorry.
If he was here, he'd be a transvestite, though. He'd be cross-dressing on here.
I love trannies. Love you, baby.
Yeah. The three brothers. My older brother. Well, he used to be the male macho guy. The quintessential tough guy with the Trans Am and working on cars. But then he flipped the switch, which is okay. That stuff happens.
Yep.
The next thing you know, he's in a wig and getting injections.
Like I say, just be you. That's the biggest part of being in this world. Be yourself, because otherwise you're not going to grow. You're not going to keep moving forward. So
we encourage it. We're like, be yourself. We're the same way. My dad was the same way. He goes, I'd rather have my son dress in drag than and commit suicide. I go, yeah, I'm with you, Mike. Hey, or his new name, whatever it was. I forget what it was. Eric knows, but hang in there and be what you want to be, and as long as you ain't killing yourself, that's fine. But he ended up doing it in 2017. But not everything has a great story. Not every people have that good karma rolling around, and you girls seem to have it, which is great, making you so happy in this beautiful place. You don't have the coronavirus, which is great.
Yes, that is,
which is fantastic.
There's a lot of famous people getting it. That's scary. So,
as far as the coronavirus is concerned, I started dreaming about that at the beginning of January, and so we all went out and bought our stuff then. We got
our toilet paper.
Yeah, we have our TP before TP was cool.
Dude, I ignored it because I was like, this is a joke. This isn't real. And then I went to go buy toilet paper like yesterday because I actually really need to go buy toilet paper, and there isn't any freaking toilet paper. And I'm like, oh, jerks.
Oh, see, they're hoarding it. That's not cool.
I started. The store sold out. The lines were gone. There was a line for it. They separated the lines. I go, what line is this? That's toilet paper line.
No,
that's ridiculous.
Yes. Inside Costco, there was an individual line for water and toilet paper, and you're only allowed one.
No. Okay. We went to a Mini Mart gas station. Just happened to have some left. They just happened to have some left, and we got lucky. We got 2 bundles. I'm like, oh my god, come on, man.
So far, Dollar General, all of them that I've been to has had toilet paper still. So.
Not anymore. Good job, Tammy. Not anymore. Everybody's going to Dollar General now.
Buy it there too.
Yeah.
I showed people my package a couple days ago on air. Got my package of toilet paper.
All right, good.
I'm going to order from Amazon.
Hey, Karen, you said you're learning about auras. Is there any other abilities that you kind of have that we don't know about?
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask.
Who, me?
Yeah.
What do you mean abilities? I don't know. I don't really. You mean just? I don't know. I know I'm an empath.
And stuff.
I'm an empath. I can feel other people's feelings. I have very connected to my intuition, of course. And when I go out into the woods, you guys saw my stream. I have them living right out in my backyard. So, I found footprints in my backyard. So they're, and I'll go out there and sometimes I'll feel one time I felt like a vibration, like my whole body was vibrating, but only from the neck down, and from the neck up, I didn't feel anything. It was only from the neck down when I was sitting out here by my fire pit, and I felt like they were here, felt like a presence. And then I felt my body vibrating, stuff like that. I've heard them talking. I haven't experienced any sort of mind speak or anything like that, although I am open to it. Like, people always say, Karen telepathically talks to Bigfoot. I'm like, no, I don't. But man, I wish they would.
Right? Well, you have to try anyway. Even if you don't think they're going to answer, you might as well try.
Oh, I do. I go out there and I just talk like they're standing there, but they won't be there, and they leave me gifts. Like the other day, one left me a skull. I think I put it back on my shelf. Then one left me a skull in my trail. Right? Like there's a
what kind of skull? I gotta ask. Not a human skull, right?
No. I think it's a raccoon.
Okay.
We don't know about this.
Yeah, well, because I live in the woods, I like skulls, and stuff like that. So if I find a skull in the woods, I pick it up and I clean it off and I keep it. so I have like a little collection of skulls that I've found in my woods. And so the other day I was walking my dog, and it was right in my trail that I walk every day, but it was like sitting right on top of this tree that had fallen over across my path. I walk over the same spot every time I go out there, and right sitting there perfectly was this little skull sitting right in the middle of where I walk. And I just picked it up, put it in my pocket. I kept going. I was like, thanks.
That's awesome. Hey, you guys, we had somebody on the radio show last night. We were doing interviews. We are on every Wednesday night. You can check it out, either listen to it live on radio, or you can go on our YouTube channel and check out the behind the scenes, because we also video it. But we had someone on last night that was talking about shiny things. And how they like shiny things, and a lot of the different structures he finds, he says there's usually something shiny. And I don't know if I got to ask him this or not, but I thought, that would be really interesting to start doing when you do give things, if you have a giving area, to maybe do some shiny things. He was even talking about like the what kind of balloons are those? Those not metallic looking. Mylar. Yeah. He said he'd find things like that all around these structures. And I just thought that was so interesting. So next time you do that, Karen, try something shiny. And then my thought was, oh my gosh, I wonder if they'd know or understand if, like a mirror, would they be able to know and understand that was them?
Oh, I'm sure.
They're smart. They're smart.
I think they're smarter than us, honestly.
They're very smart.
But have they ever had mirrors?
That's cool. Yeah, or you would exchange. They give you a gift, put one back. Like you said, something shiny, put something back. That'd be kind of interesting. You gain like a little bit of rapport.
Maybe I'll make something for them and I'll go put it out there.
That'd be awesome.
Karen's gonna have skulls lined up on a log every time she walks. Cool.
You're gonna have to let it.
And then you gotta explain that one to the cops. There's a Sasquatch I have to deal with. It brought me a skull. I don't know if that'll work out with the cops too well. Oh, there you go.
Is that a Halloween skull?
Yeah. It's not real.
Oh.
You can tell because it has a metopic suture, which normally they don't put on skulls.
Jen is so intelligent. She is like one of the smartest people I've ever met in my life.
The suture in the front of the forehead. Most people don't have that.
Yeah, I did a film on when I was in the Paris Underground, and I found I'm picking up skulls. I'm like, bones. Anyway, I had a skull. And it had the suture like all the way down. It's rare. Like just what you said. I said, whoa. I got my camera.
Jen's got a deep one.
I've got a very deep one that goes all the way up.
Oh, yeah. That's what they say. 7 million. No, there's no 7 million. There's way more than that, man. Oh, she got one.
What does that mean?
She literally took my finger and said, feel this.
You can put your finger in between the bones there. You can literally feel in between them there.
You got one.
Yeah, she's got it deep too. She like I said before, she literally, because she said, have you ever felt this before? And I said, no. And so she said, here, give me your finger. And I was like, gross, because I had never seen it. What do you do? But it's so interesting. I was wondering too if that had anything to do with her abilities or, even just her brain being so powerful.
I think it does, because when you look at some of the people in the world, like if you were to look into the most famous telekinetic people in the world, one of the best ones, was she from Russia? Where she was, all the pictures of her are in black and white, but you can see very clearly she has the same thing. And then the guy that can bend spoons, he has it too.
I got a dip that goes way up like that. I got a dip here and here. And I got a new one right here. Like in between my eyes.
That's where your third eye is. I wonder if it has something to do with your third eye.
A freaking hole in my head now.
Everybody's touching their forehead.
It's a hole in my head now, right there.
Bob, coronavirus, you're not supposed to touch your face. Come on.
No,
I touch a lot of things.
Did you wash your hands?
I touched a lot of things twice.
If you look up a picture of a human skull, it's a solid bone right here. It's called the frontal bone. But every once in a while, somebody will have two bones, and then they'll have what's called a persistent metopic suture. Okay, that when they're babies, they have two bones, but they grow together to be one. Okay, so with no evidence of a suture there, so it's one solid bone. Okay, so there's a problem that sometimes babies will have if they don't fuse right there, and their brain will start bursting out the front, and that's when you get pictures like the Star Child type skull, where it's like really bulbous right there. But for those who have the persistent metopic suture into adulthood, you kind of have to know that it's there, because if you're in a severe accident and you end up at the emergency room and they x-ray your head, they're going to think that you cracked your skull open.
Yeah.
Because it literally looks like it's open.
Yeah.
Well, I have a dent when I flew out of a car when I was a baby.
Yeah.
Still here.
Eric hit the windshield. He broke the windshield as a baby. A little baby head broke the windshield, which is
As
kind
a
of
baby.
a baby shattered the windshield.
Well,
Amazing.
I'm glad you're alive. Oh my goodness, how scary.
I'm glad too.
Yeah, I was in a coma in 2009, and I tell you what, the things that I saw it was just amazing. So I do know.
So you had a near-death experience.
Oh
Here's
yes. Oh yes.
Tell us about it.
I don't think
Here
we
we
have
go.
enough time. Aren't we done here in a little
We're
bit?
about wrapping it up.
If you gotta go, you gotta
How
go.
about next time?
And
Okay.
Tammy has a dance to do after the show. Just saying.
A dance? Can you give us a little preview?
Go Tammy. Go
Did we
Tammy.
get to
You have a dance to
300?
do.
We're there. You dance.
I get the one.
She's our resident dancer.
Well, let's do this then. Since we're close to 2 hour mark, let me give each one of you a last word to tell, and then we'll just end the show. So we'll start with you, Jen, who started the team. So I'll let you have a word, and everybody else will have a last word. So tell us, Jen, what do you want to tell us?
My last words.
You're gonna be
Not ever.
you're walking the Green Mile.
Right. My last words. Peace, everybody. No. We really enjoy doing the Bigfoot searching, and really we're doing it to satisfy our own curiosity. It's really our hobby. We're not making money on this deal. We actually lose money every time we go out there, but it's fun for us. It's our hobby. And we really enjoy finding the things that we find and sharing it with others. And whether people like to see what we have to share, whether they don't, it's really what, it's really, we're just sharing what we found. So I always tell the girls they have to have tough skin, because everybody likes to say, oh, that's not real, to everything you see. We've had so many amazing experiences in our life, and I just feel so very blessed to be able to go out and do that, and that people want to hear what we have to share and come and see us wherever we are. So really thank you, everybody. And please come subscribe to our YouTube channel and help us win that race. She-Squatchers Official. We love ya.
Tammy, you got anything you want to say?
Just everybody who's interested in doing this, just keep going. And we're all in this together. We're all learning. None of us are experts. And I think that everybody has something to offer. And I think that, just keep looking and keep talking about it. Share with each other. That's how we learn.
Nice.
And then Jenna, somebody in the chat says, I want to hear about your near-death experience. So you have to come back.
I would love
Everybody
to.
wants to hear it.
Definitely. Well, if anybody has, if you have a show on near-death experiences, I would be happy to talk about mine. It was a life-changing experience. But my last words here are thanks to everybody for listening and tuning in, because you know what, like Jen said, we're doing this for ourselves, but we're also doing it so we can share with you guys. And whether it's a video where we're asking you if you see something, or just a video that we've captured, this is just, let us know how you feel, tell us if you see things. And when you're out there yourself, you don't need, and this is the biggest thing I want to say, you don't need all of the equipment that we talk about or we use. The only thing you need is yourself, and maybe a camera, or, maybe something to record. So otherwise, be good and prosper. Love you guys.
Yeah, just don't take Bob out there. He smells. He'll scare away the Bigfoot.
I smell like oils. I don't use soap no more. I don't use deodorants. I don't use nothing no more.
And what about you, Karen? You want to say anything?
Go ahead, Karen.
No, but thanks for having me on. It was a pleasure to meet you ladies, and I subbed your channel, and I'll be watching what you guys do, because Bigfoot is that's my pet, my original interest before Flat Earth and Mandela and everything. That was basically how I fell down the rabbit hole.
The rabbit hole. Mm-hmm. It is. I mean, a lot of people, to a lot of people, once you know that spirit is real, you want to find something else to see,
Yeah.
So hopefully we'll be able to find Bigfoot and get them protected and
Protect. Yes. Thank you for saying that.
Well,
And
then,
get them protected. I like that.
There's the
Yes.
YouTube channel right there, people. Michael Healy just put it on the screen. Make sure you sub them. And I'm like 24 people away from 2,000 subscribers. So don't forget to subscribe to me too. I'm 24 people away from 2,000. So that's fantastic. And that's thanks to Brian and Karen and them promoting the channel to help me out. So I appreciate that. And last question for the team. Will you come back on my show in the future?
Absolutely.
Of course.
Sure.
Cool.
I think it's fun. I just like to, shoot the crap and just talk and just have fun. It's all about. So
Yeah, just don't come back pregnant because I'll have to tell you that.
Right.
I don't want to. I don't want to.
You what?
Just don't come back pregnant because I'll see it.
I
You
can
don't have to
guarantee
worry
you.
about that.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know how to tell you this, but do you have a guy friend I can talk to real quick?
Yeah, no worries. Tammy and I are all set.
Okay.
Yep. Doors closed. We're good.
Well, that's it, everybody. I'm gonna end the show with our good old fun intro, and I'll see everybody later.
Bye.
Just one touch